Choose you. So many decisions that you have to make. Confusing, overwhelming, scared you'll make a mistake, second guessing yourself, trying to see what to do. Whatever you decide, be sure to choose you. Life is to be lived, lessons to be learned. Give yourself a little credit. Collect what you've earned. Empower yourself. Take a mental break too. Wherever you go, be sure to choose you. You matter, you're worth it. What I say is true. In the end, you're gonna win, but you got to choose you. Hello, 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 and welcome to Choose You Talk Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's topic is going to be the draw. The draw, taken from John 12 and 32. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. There's a song that says, how to reach the masses, men of every birth. For an answer, Jesus gave a key. He said, if I be lifted up from the earth, then I'll draw all men unto me. The world is hungry for the living bread. Lift the Savior up for them to see. Trust him and do not doubt the words that he said, I'll draw all men unto me. Y'all better be glad I can't sing. Otherwise, I'll be giving y'all that solo right up in here. It says, God said, if I walk right, if I talk right, if I live right, if I give right, if I pray right, I'll draw all men unto me. Then it goes on and says, tell me who's going to help me lift Jesus. Will you help me lift Jesus? Good question, huh? So today's topic, the draw. What does it take for you to draw? What does draw mean to you? Does it mean just telling somebody about Christ? Showing them the Christ in you? Leading them in the righteous ways? What does the draw mean to you? Are you working to draw men to God? And when we say men, we're not just talking about men. We're talking about women, children. What are you doing? What methods do you use? Well, today I'm going to discuss 3 common methods. And we'll see if maybe you fall into one of those methods. It's a possibility. Now, remind you, there's several methods. And whatever you use, even if it's just typical modeling and doing the right thing, whatever you use to draw men to God, then you're doing the right thing. The 3 that I'm going to talk about is a moth to light, salt for flavor, and love when undeserved. Those are 3 really, really strong methods. And personally, the reason I chose those 3 is because those are 3 that resonate with me. Those are 3 that I have to use. I mean, I try modeling. I do. I do. But these 3, as I break them down, you'll see a little bit more about them and you'll understand more why I use these methods. A moth to light. Have you ever noticed, like on the front porch, have you ever noticed that how moths are drawn to light? Like especially if you're trying to they draw the most attention when you're trying to get in the house. And the porch light is drawing moths from everywhere. Moths are used to the moon. They use the moon to navigate in darkness. So just think, I mean, it's a natural thing. They're only doing what comes natural to them, and that's following that light. In that same method, unsaved people are used to darkness, but every now and then that light draws them. And it's not anything but the natural because they're being pulled whether they want to or not. And sometimes, contrary to belief, the natural draw is not actually, it may not be what they want to do, but they can't help it. And if you're a person of light, sometimes you end up drawing people who aren't so much used to that light. And because they want to be in the darkness, but they just can't figure out what that light is, why they keep finding themselves bumping heads with you or in your circle or in your surroundings, don't let them turn your light out. And see, like I said, on the front porch, I'm one of those people, if it's too many bugs on the porch, why not cut the light out? I'm gonna run to the front, run out to the car, I'm coming back in. I know where the steps are. What sense does it mean to have the light on? Do not turn your light out for no reason. There is no reason. You know how the little song the kids sing, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. It's perfectly okay to be that shine, to be that glow, to be that draw. Because believe it or not, sometimes the only Jesus that people will see is that Jesus in you. Give it to them. Let them have it. Be that glow. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. John 8:12. And tells us that we are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. So if Jesus shares his light with you, you can most definitely share it with others. Be that light. What he is saying is that if you truly have light of the world living in you, it can't be hidden. No matter how hard you try, it's going to come out. You can't hide it. Others will be drawn to that light like a moth to a porch light. Told you. So when they come to you, point them in the light of the world. Don't hide it under a bushel. Just let your light shine. Let your light shine. DP Enterprises, the home of Fix It Dell. Do you need help finding a job or assistance with online production? Do you want a song written? Are you in need of private security? Would you like some personalized poetry or even a 501c3 created? If so, call Fix It Dell at 901-440-0335. Science Child is an organization dedicated to the enlightening of girls from ages 7 to 17 in handling issues with anger, aggression, and bullying. Our mission is to infiltrate schools, churches, and communities with the message of anti-bullying and create awareness about the lasting effects of aggression and bullying. If you are interested, or you know a girl from ages 7 to 17 that may be interested and benefit from this program, please contact us at www.sanschild.org. Again, that's www.sanschild.org. Okay, the next method I'd like to discuss is salt for flavor. Jesus said, you are the salt of the earth, but if salt has lost its taste, How shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. That's Matthew 5 and 13. Salt that's lost its taste doesn't enhance the taste of food, but actually makes it bitter. It's good for nothing except, like the Romans did, using it as part of the Roman system. They threw it on the ground so that it'd help, if you've been out in the country, they have like pathways. So the salt is used as a similarity to sand to fill the spots in gravel or what have you. So if you're not enhancing, then you're garbage. You're for the naught. If you're not going to be used to enhance the flavor, then there's really nothing else for you to do. And people could easily trample over you. That's just it. There is a balance, and you have to use just the right amount of salt for it to give it its keen flavor. If you use too much, the food becomes unable, you can't eat it, unable to be eaten. And if you lose too little, it's bland, which makes sure, they're not going to eat that either. So you have to use just the right amount. Have you ever tried a recipe and added too much salt? Just could you imagine potatoes? If you use too much salt in the potatoes, they're inedible. If you use too little salt in potatoes, they're bland and there's no flavor. Hmm. Now, see, you just have to make sure you shake that salt shaker just right so you can get the right amount. And with God, you'll always have just the right amount. Just the right amount. You'll be able to give just enough flavor to draw. Again, remember, we're talking about the methods used to draw people. If you're a Christian person and you are talking to folks who are not Christian, you don't want to be overbearing. You don't want to give them too much. You just need just enough to draw. You don't want to give them too little because then they'll feel like, okay, it's not doing too much for her, so why should I go into that? But keep in mind, if you give them just the right amount, it adds enough flavor and it draws them. And that's what you want to do. The third method is love when undeserved. Who among us shall deserve to be saved? What merit did we bring to God when we wanted to be saved? We all thought we were full of sin and a stained life, but the cleansing that took place by the precious blood of the Lamb took our sins away. When you love those who don't deserve it, you do what God did. He loved us first before we ever loved him. 1 John 9:4-19. Love those who don't deserve it because neither did we. Just think about a time when you were a young child. If you had a very loving mother and you did something that you were not supposed to do or said something you were not supposed to say. I was a very talkative child. I'm still talkative, but I was a very talkative child. And sometimes in repeating things, you'll say things that you're not supposed to. And I remember one time I had heard the woman say something, had this lady say it, and my mom asked me to repeat it. And so I did. I had no idea it was going to hurt my mom's feelings. I I never would have repeated it had I known it was going to hurt her feelings. And my mom had me and my sister, and she had two of my brothers, and she was pregnant. And the lady says, Brenda gonna have all the babies out of baby heaven. She ain't gonna leave none for the rest of us. Everybody laughed. It was a joke. It was no big thing. My mom didn't hear her. So she wanted to know what the lady said. I told her, I could tell in my mom's disposition, it wasn't, her shoulders went down, her head went down a little bit. It didn't it didn't draw the tears or anything, but it hurt her. It made me notice that she was hurt. And so of course I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, mom, I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said it. And she said, it's not your fault. You were just repeating what you heard. But of course I'm like, oh my gosh. But at that moment, I saw a different type of love. My mom went to the woman the next day and loved on that woman so hard, and took my little brothers over there and let them play over to her house and let her have a feel of having children around because she didn't have any kids. And I saw, the type, this draw love, that undeserving love. I saw a different type of love coming from my mom to this woman who, she could have taken, my mom could have taken it a whole different way, went a whole different way with it. But she didn't. She was just like, maybe she misses, maybe she wants. And so that was an undeserving love, And I was like, wow. And I was, young girl, 12, 13 years old. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. I see. I got it now. I got it now. So sometimes you have to love people beyond expectations. And when they see that love, that draws them to Christ. Again, our topic matter is just about what it takes to draw someone to Christ. What are you doing in your everyday life to draw people to Christ? I have a few accountability partners at my job. And my job is not the hardest job in the world. Don't get me wrong, by far. But it takes a mental toll. So a lot of times you get wrapped up and so busy trying to do the job that you forget your real reason for being here. So I have to say, I am guilty of forgetting my purpose. Everybody asks me, oh, you got a job, you don't have to work. You're right, I don't. But I love what I do. I love where I am. I love the people I work with. And sometimes I get a little wrapped up. So I'm thankful for those accountability partners who remind me, hey, sunshine, you're not smiling today. Haha, make me smile. I I have to be in position to draw. I have to be in position to draw because that's my purpose. That's why I'm here. It's not to make all the money in the world. It's not to show off fancy clothes. It's not to flash cash. My reason for being where I am is to draw people to the Lord. And that's it. And I'm not saying what people, because a lot of times it may not even be out of your household, out of your family, out of your circle. But if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you'll find out easily that the draw is what your calling. Okay, so I'm going to church Sunday. Anybody want to go to church with me? Who wants to go to church with someone that they don't feel has a connection with God? So if you're not the light that's drawing the moths, if you're not the salt that's giving off the flavor, if you're not the one that's giving that undeserving love, what can you teach anybody? What are you showing them? So again, remember in all your actions and all your deeds and all your words, keep God first. Love him because he loves you. Show love because he shows love to you. Undeserving love because keep in mind, you really did deserve the love that he gave to you. So it's not for us to pick and choose who deserves the love that we have to give. It's all about God. It's all about God. And if you're trying to reach the masses, like the song says, you have to lift him up. You have to keep him lifted in your words, your work, your deeds, your thoughts, your talk, your walk. It needs to all be about God. Just keep him first. And a lot of times we all have issues. We all have situations. We all have stumbling blocks. You know, the best way to get past any of this is to choose you. Keep a focus on you. Keep your directive on you. It's hard to love on someone else when you don't love yourself. So be sure to love on you. In the Choose You commercial, it shows all these things like the fireplace and this massive bed. These are things to show yourself love, to show yourself comfort. These, oh, the beautiful, beautiful, oh, the sceneries. You know, you have to realize that you were put here for a reason. God put those here for a reason, for you to enjoy. But in your enjoying it and in your partaking of it, it's always better when you have someone with you. And why not draw someone to be on the same path as you? Be that draw. Draw them in. Bring them to Christ. Choose them so they can choose God. And always, always remember to choose you. Thank you again for tuning in. See you on next episode.